She didn't say much the first time I saw her, just locked eyes with me while the storm poured down like the planet was trying to wash me back into orbit. I was ankle-deep in mud, elbow-deep in regret, and silently blaming every career choice that led to being the only human agri-tech on a soaked jungle moon populated by beast folk who believed crops grew better if you danced hard enough. No one warned me about the dancing. Certainly no one warned me about her. I was still adjusting the pump pressure in the east trench when the chanting started. Drums, wet fur slapping the earth, the ground thudding in sync. Then the tribe parted, and she stepped out, drenched and tall, mane clinging to her shoulders like silk slapped on muscle. She twirled. Not some dainty ballet, this was primal, deliberate, hips and claws moving like the storm obeyed her. Rain clung to her curves, and the mud didn't dare cling too long. Then she pointed to me. I froze. I'd seen enough alien rituals to know being pointed at was rarely good. She walked forward, eyes locked on mine, chest rising with steam from the rain. Her fur gleamed. The air smelled like wet bark and challenge. She placed a clawed hand on my chest. I choose home, she said. I blinked. You what? She has offered, said the elder beside me. The fields are shared now. You've been tilled. Tilled? A horn blew. A goat was presented. The tribe began tossing mud flowers. Someone slapped me on the back and whispered, "Fertility be upon your yield." I muttered, "I was just clapping politely." Apparently that counted as consent. Back in my tent, I tried logging a report. My comm was waterlogged and sparking like my sanity. I dictated anyway. Entry log, possibly married via tribal rain ritual. Unclear if consummation required or if standing still too long during dance counts as accepting union. Awaiting clarification on interspecies gesture boundaries. I tossed the goat outside. The next morning, she was there again. Waiting. No umbrella. No translator. She offered me something that looked like a cross between a cucumber and a weapon. For planting, she said, proud. Right. Thanks. Totally not a threat. She followed me as I laid irrigation lines. I tried explaining the purpose of the water channel. She nodded thoughtfully, and then traced the line down my arm with one claw. Moisture flows where it's needed, she said. I'm fine, really. You are dry. I fixed this. I'd prefer not to be fixed. She laughed like I was charming prey. Lunch didn't help. She brought roasted roots and sat entirely too close. Every time I scooted away, she scooted closer. When I tried to change topic to soil pH, she responded with, "Your scent lingers strong in rain. You claim space well." I spit soup. "That's not what I'm doing." She sniffed me. "You deny dominance." Interesting. Later that night, she decorated my tent with feathers and placed something soft and furry on my cot. What's this? My nesting. Shared now. Oh no. No. I don't even nest alone. She looked confused. Hurt even. You don't like my fur? No, it's not that. It's great fur. Very furry. She stepped back. Do humans not share home with Chosen? Some do. Not like this. Not overnight. And definitely not after dancing once in a storm. She studied me for a long moment, then said, "You clapped." I groaned. "I'll never clap again." "Too late," she said. I ended the night with a translator manual in one hand and a dry sock in the other, trying to determine if twirling in the rain was universally romantic, or if I'd just wandered into an alien wedding barefoot. The storm kept pounding outside, and I swear I heard her hum some kind of tribal lullaby. It wasn't bad. I stared at the ceiling, soaked in confusion, wondering how dry a man's heart had to get before he started feeling warm in the middle of a monsoon. I woke up to find my toothbrush braided with red fur. Not beside it, asterisk woven asterisk into it, like a warning or an offering. I wasn't sure which was worse. The goat from yesterday had returned, too, staring at me like it knew I was already lost. Zarkali was waiting by the trench again, watching me lay pipe. She crouched down beside me and said, "You bend well. Ground accepts your pressure. Please stop saying things like that. You sweat more today. Very fertile. I'm working. It's hot. You glisten. This pleases me." I tried to distract myself with the flow regulator. She reached out and squeezed the hose. "You tame wetness with tools. I'm begging you." She tilted her head. "You begged. Now I understand." And just like that, she was gone, leaving behind confusion, damp tools, and something warm in my chest I hated noticing. At lunch, she brought me a jug of thick purple fluid. "Drink. Ritual binding requires shared fluids. That's juice. Your tongue will know. I'd rather my tongue stayed out of this." She leaned in, teeth flashing. "Mine won't." I choked. She beamed like she'd passed the test. Later, during a community lesson, I tried giving a serious tutorial on irrigation. I had diagrams, charts, measurements. She interpreted each one like it was foreplay. When I explained nutrient delivery via drip line, she murmured, "Dripping with intention." The others nodded. I pointed to a soil saturation diagram and said, "This area needs controlled penetration." That's when the tribal elder barked. "He speaks the right of merging." Zarkali clapped. "He has studied our customs." "No, I googled water tables." A younger Beastwoman whispered. "He desires deep roots." Someone else hissed. "He tests her drainage." By nightfall, my tent had been fully redecorated. Woven leaves lined the walls. The cot was replaced with a nest of damp fur and moss. My work boots were polished. A dish of rocks sat beside my pillow. I stepped outside and confronted her. "What the hell is all this? Your den was not worthy. I improve it. I didn't ask you to." You clapped. "I thought we settled that." She placed a hand on my chest again. "Your heartbeat told truth." "No," it said, panic. "I like that rhythm. You can't just." "I can. I did." I threw my hands up. "Look, I'm not mate material. I microwave soup. I talk to myself. I have 3 passwords I forgot this week. I am not home." She stepped closer. "But you hold warmth and storm. You organize chaos. You cursed at broken pipe, but fixed it. You smell of wet bark and defiance. Those aren't compliments. They are to me." I hesitated. Then I asked the question I shouldn't have. "What does feel like home really mean to your people?" She looked at me without blinking. "It means I will follow your scent until you stop running. It means your breath calms mine. It means your absence makes the fire go cold." I didn't know what to say to that. So I said nothing. Back inside, the nest didn't feel as strange anymore. Still weird. Still mossy. But the part of me that missed warm things, maybe it twitched a little. That night, the storm rolled in again. Louder. Wet thunder slapped the sky. I didn't sleep much. At some point, I realized she'd left a new item in the nest, a claw-carved figurine shaped suspiciously like me, holding a pipe and glaring at a goat. I should have felt creeped out. Instead, I muttered, "Great. She made a voodoo doll." But I didn't throw it away. She was waiting outside at dawn, standing still in the mist, tail flicking like she'd already made decisions for both of us. I stepped out half-dressed and already annoyed, and she didn't blink. "You resist claiming," she said, "but still wear scent I marked. You rubbed fruit on my jacket. I chose passion root. It bonds. Like you? I'm bonded to my jacket, not you. Then why haven't you removed either?" I ignored her and got back to the pump valve. She crouched beside me, quiet this time, like a cat studying a new toy. I could feel her watching, judging, waiting. "You act broken," she said eventually. "But still build. I fix things because no one else will. Then fix me. I'm not a therapist. I'm a tech." She smiled. "Then adjust my pressure, technician." I stood up so fast I hit my head on the pipe. Later, she followed me into the seedling tent. I tried to lose her. She walked through the mist like a dream that wouldn't leave. I snapped. Why do you keep calling me home? I'm not a hut. I'm not a den. I'm not even housebroken most days. She looked hurt. Then why do you carry shelter for others but not yourself? What? You protect pipes. You shield roots. You build for rain. But inside you stay empty. You are drought pretending to be flood. I rubbed my temples. That's not how plumbing works. It is how mating does. That shut me up. She sat cross-legged and waited. Not pushing. Just being present, like a storm cloud that doesn't have to thunder to be dangerous. I got dumped, I said after too long. Before this. She said I was too dry. Emotionally. Said I thought fixing her broken things was the same as caring. Zarkali nodded. Some humans think love is thunder. But I like the ones who stay during drizzle. I hated that I knew what she meant. I tried to explain human hesitation. Cultural context. Boundaries. She tilted her head and asked why humans built so many fences around themselves when all they wanted was to be touched. I had no answer. When I went back to my tent, it had changed again. Not with fur this time. She'd put up leaves shaped into crude depictions of scenes. Me fixing a pipe, me yelling at the goat, me holding a cup of that god-awful purple drink and spitting it out. It was sweet. And a little terrifying. There was a note etched in bark. You are storm-proof. I will wait in your weather. That night, thunder hit harder than usual. I found myself stepping outside before I knew why. She was dancing again. Alone this time. No tribe. Just her and the rain. Her movements weren't meant for anyone. No seductive twirls. No declarations. She just moved, like she needed to remind herself she still could. Her fur clung to her like armor and vulnerability all at once. I watched too long. She stopped and looked straight at me. I didn't run. She walked up, steam rising from her skin, claws loose at her sides. Will you always run from rain? I didn't answer. She stepped close. Close enough for me to feel the heat under all that soaked fur. She didn't touch me. I don't want a mate who flees, she whispered. And I don't want to be owned. Then be wanted, she said. I didn't know when my hands moved. I just knew they were already on her shoulders. And for once, I didn't flinch. Not when she leaned her forehead to mine. Not when she sighed like the air in her lungs had waited all season for this. Not when I realized I wasn't cold anymore. Inspection day was supposed to be simple: check crop viability, confirm irrigation metrics, sign off on tribal compliance. No one mentioned managing expectations when your pseudo-spouse greets the crew shirtless, dripping, and describing you as her chosen hydrator. I tried to warn them. I really did. But you can't explain this kind of thing on paper. When the regional supervisor stepped onto the mud platform and saw Zarkali twirling barefoot in the rain, chanting something about fertile bonds and wet devotion, he gave me a look that said, "What the hell did you do?" I gave him one that said, "It's a long story and I might be into it now." Zarkali danced toward me. Not coy. Not dramatic. Just confident, like the storm moved through her spine. She grabbed my hand mid-spin and pulled me in with force that didn't feel optional. You join now, she said. I thought I already had. Not with feet. She meant dancing. Sort of. Maybe. The crew stood slack-jawed as I stumbled into rhythm beside her. My boots sank in mud. My spine popped. She adjusted my posture mid-twirl. More hips? She growled. Less knees. We spun together, offbeat but in sync. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't sexy. It was two idiots making the rain feel like less of a threat. At the end, she pressed her forehead to mine again. Her claws didn't press. Her chest rose slow and steady. She whispered, "Now they know." Know what? That you are mine. And I am not wrong. I looked at the crew, who were pretending not to be deeply uncomfortable. The supervisor pulled me aside while she helped the tribe reset the dance field. Look, he said. We usually don't get involved in local pairings, but this is something. Define something. You filed a report about an accidental bonding ceremony. And now you're mud-wetted. Irrigation ally entangled, technically. He sighed. You staying? I glanced back. She was showing the rookies how to spin in rhythm. One tried. He slipped in the mud. She laughed like thunder broke inside her chest. I think so, I said. All right. You'll need a different form. And probably a joint residence certificate. Make it waterproof. That night, I sat beside her while the storm softened into a drizzle. She didn't talk. Just handed me a carved wooden stake with both our names etched in barcode. For the field, she said. To show what we grow. I held it like it was more than wood. Still scared of rain? She asked. Still mildly against damp socks. She curled beside me. Her fur steamed faintly. You're weird. You claimed me. I know, she said. Took you long enough to accept it. I stared up at the clouds and realized something stupid. My chest wasn't tight anymore. My skin didn't itch to leave. The storm didn't press so hard. Maybe it was her. Maybe it was the fact she never flinched, not even once, when I gave her the worst parts of me. Maybe I just got tired of being dry. I turned to her and said, You know, you never told me why you picked me. She blinked. You cursed at mud and made things work anyway. You made broken things feel useful again. You smelled lonely but didn't hide it. That's the smell of home. I should have had something clever to say. But all I did was nod. And when she leaned into me, soaked, fang, too warm for logic, I leaned back. Turns out, home isn't always built. Sometimes it twirls in the rain and dares you to follow.